Paradigm Review Show. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ross Wayne. We have Mac the Riddler. This is the Mac speaking. Today we are doing The Batman 2022. Robert Pattinson, directed by Matt Reeves. We're going to start with the good. I don't think it's going to be an overwhelming long list based on pretty much Mac, myself, and Gaz all probably pretty much thought the same thing of this movie. There are good aspects of it. Some of you guys are out there saying this is the best Batman movie ever. I don't even know how you're saying that. Like this is probably something that's a bit more on par with like a Batman Forever, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. I think that there's a good movie in there somewhere, but good luck finding it. You know what I mean? Because it's 3 hours long, so you're going to be digging through a lot of material trying to find that. Hopefully, all my Zodiac heads tune in. Zodiac Files episode 3 out now. The Sherry Joe Bates mystery. Mac the Riddler here actually did the thumbnail on that, so kudos to him. Any intro thoughts, Mac?
Hey man, I think calling it on par with Forever. I think,
in my opinion, got him.
Well, I'll say this much, what Forever try to do, it try to bring back the old, 1950s, 60s serial Batman, Adam West and all that. That's what it felt like for me.
Yeah, the TV show, I agree.
But this one, it seemed like they were trying to bring that Nolan vibe into this one, but it just didn't go too well because when you figure with the length of this film and what it would give, it would give you like something a lot more, to roll on or whatever. But it's just not giving enough. Okay, let's just pretty much start from how it's summarized. It's basically the second year of Batman's Crime Friday, correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. And now with this second year, you figured, okay, what happened in year one and all that? Could we like maybe I don't even want to I'm gonna get into that, aspect later or whatever, man. But my thing is this: what they could have done was a lot better than what they just gave us. Like you said,
I agree.
There's a good movie in this. It's probably in the very few scenes I've seen where it showed some promise, but then in the end of the day retracted that back and then puts you in this.
I think it was the beginning. I think Act 1 was the best act in the film.
Act 1 was definitely the best act, and Act 3 came close, but the thing is, with the transition between those acts, which is Act 2, is just where it got a little flimsy and confused.
And also Act 3, story-wise, my biggest problem with this movie, I think, is the story, because I'll get into the good parts in a second. I also have a tie-in of what you just said about Adam West and the original Batman series, because that ties into Zodiac, the Zodiac lore as well. First and foremost, what I want you guys to do, I think I sent this to you and Gazmac, but I can't remember. I want you guys to head over to David Aranchak's channel. I'm going to put the card up there. He did a breakdown of the Batman connections to Zodiac and vice versa. It's pretty incredible. He broke down the Riddler cipher because they put out a bunch of I think was it Papagenos and a bunch of other things that had additional ciphers and additional things to basically like a promo campaign to go along with the movie. So people were trying to break that cipher online, which they did, and then the solution ended up being he lies to what is it? What does a lawyer do when he's dead? And then the answer to the riddle was he lies still, which, okay, whatever. But anyway, quite frankly, David Aranchak's video about breaking the cipher down is actually more interesting than this entire movie is. So I'd recommend that you guys go watch this on YouTube for free. He also has another one with Zodiac's influence on pop culture and vice versa. If any of my Zodiac heads are tuned in, you know what I mean, hit us up in the chat if you guys are fans of my Zodiac Files true crime web series. Well, I don't know if I explained this to you, Mac, but I know Mac is a fan of Dirty Harry and the Dirty Harry franchise. Well, Scorpio and Dirty Harry 1 is based on Zodiac, obviously. that film takes place in the Bay Area where the Zodiac killer crimes took place in the late 60s. And there's also a lot more. There's a character, I think, in Exorcist 2 or Exorcist, I think it's Exorcist 3, that is based on the Zodiac. So this isn't new. Basing the Riddler on the Zodiac is not some new thing in the film world. This happens quite frequently. There's a good real quick for the Zodiac heads. There's a great breakdown on the Zodiac A to Z podcast by Michael Butterfield, where he breaks down the exact original Batman comic books, which supposedly influenced Zodiac, as well as the other film influences that I just mentioned. And where that Exorcist thing comes into play is Zodiac in the last letter where Zodiac admits to writing it. They call it the Exorcist letter because he references the movie The Exorcist, and he says, I just watched The Exorcist and it's the finest satirical comedy I've ever seen. He calls it a comedy. So then, they take that later on and then they make a character based on him in the later Exorcist movies, which is weird. Basically, the whole thing about the Zodiac is like, art imitating life, the way that he tried to take comic books and movies and absorb them into his own personality as a serial killer, what he was doing, terrorizing people with letters and crimes, and then all these other films basing characters on him. You know what I mean? It's like a vice versa effect, and it continues on with the Riddler. We're going to get into it a little bit later in the first act when we talk about this stuff.
And you know what's so crazy is that those references right there give a show to a deeper analysis of something that you can turn into the entertainment. Yep. But then that's the thing, though. It's like it doesn't do that. It'll just give you, it's Batman, he'll fight crime, and then wishy-washy,
Well, he was solving crimes for 2.5 hours, Mac. Did that not keep you entertained? And he's like, hey, Gordon, what's this? What's in this card? Anyway, we're gonna get
Batman and Robin's Bat credit card was more interesting.
we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into all that stuff, guys. But yeah, I just want to lay it out for you. And then I know, as I just said, David has another video. What up, Ray May? What's up, my dude? Ray May, man, I'm sorry, man, but this one just didn't pan out for me. We're going to start with the good, and then we're going to get into the bad, and I don't know, man. you gotta give us what you think in the chat. But anyway, if you don't know the Zodiac influences, Ray May, I'm gonna break those down to Riddler in a bit. I know Ray May's familiar with my Zodiac File series, so yeah, and then as I just said, David has that other video that breaks down the Zodiac influences on pop culture and vice versa. So I'm gonna link both when we're done here. So the Batman 2022 action crime drama. Quite frankly, I think it's more drama than it is action or crime. As Mac and I were just saying, Act 1, it starts out hot, as Mac said. This isn't like a veteran for real. This isn't like a veteran, 40-year-old Christian Bale, Dark Knight Rises Batman. It's more of a younger one. Obviously, that's where you get Robert Pattinson. I just want to start out by saying I'm not a Robert, me, Mac, and Gaz refer to him with the loving moniker Robert Wackinson. I just want to say that I don't think Pattinson is totally whack. I've never seen a Twilight film, but I do like him in The Rover. The Rover's epic. The Rover is really one of my favorite movies. It's super ill. And Tenet. I thought he was good in Tenet. I actually liked Tenet. It wasn't quite as insane on the second one. And what Mac was just saying about the Nolan universe and the Nolan film, the feel and mood. Again, Mac, why are we trying to bring that Nolan influence into a new franchise that has nothing to do with Nolan? Like, do we is that necessary? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need to take influence from the trilogy before this reboot? You know what I mean? Because we've already seen the Nolan trilogy. So,
well, I'm guessing because the formula was more, the Nolan formula was more modernized and more, relatable, to the Batman universe.
Yeah, more realism.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, obviously oversaturating something, it's not going to turn out to be good.
Right.
And if you're going to go that route, my thing is you're going to make it 3 hours, then make it entertaining.
What up, Greg?
Enough for you to I mean, it's like
which they didn't do.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and going back to the what we said about like Joker and the character analysis formula. My thing is like they could have done something with that. Like in Batman Begins, we saw how Bruce Wayne was in the beginning. He wanted to kill the murderer of his parents, and he was gonna go at it with a gun, straight up. And now my thing is like, take that right there and make a sort of a scene, sort of a history leading up to, okay, okay, better. Here's a better example. His detective skills in the movie. How is he good with that? What made him look at certain things? The riddles he was figuring out. How was he good with that?
There's kind of no explanation, right? He just walks onto the scene and he's like freaking the dude in Limitless. And he's like, don't worry, Gordon. I got it all figured out.
The guy
card here from the Riddler. You know what I mean?
The guy acted like he was already 10-year veteran or something like that.
Yeah, dude, how's he that good at solving the crime scenes if he's on year 2? Like, that's a question I have. But okay, you know what? It's the Batman universe. I'm a Batman fanboy. I'm pretty sure Mac is. Okay, so whatever. Yeah, I agree, Greg. And real quick, Ray May, I totally agree. I do like this Gotham. I think London provided an amazing backdrop, although the Dark Knight Gotham was Chicago, which is considered to be the most Gothic city in the United States. But I thought London looked amazing. The noir feel, the rain, like The Crow, the dark city, the dark London. Epic, amazing. The backdrop is sick, and that's why I want to. You have anything else, Mac, or you want to just jump?
No, that's that. No, I'm just adding on. Like definitely.
Yeah,
they chose the right city for Gotham and all that because London is sort of Gothic in some ways.
Too. Yeah, for sure, big time. Yeah, it's definitely. So
it's definitely.
So Act 1, we come in as Mac was saying. I think what Mac was establishing is. Prerequisite influence for this would be like the Long Halloween, which influenced the Dark Knight, Batman Year One, which Mac was just referring to, and there's several other Batman references. I understand, Ray May. I mean, I do like Alfred. I think Alfred is one of the better parts of this movie. I just think
Alfred was treated like crap in this film.
I think there's certain things that are. Like, I don't know. I like Alfred. I like the depiction of Alfred in this movie, but I don't know if he was used properly, though. You know what I'm saying? And as Mac was saying before, Gordon was fresh in this movie. Alfred was fresh. Gordon was fresh. Penguin was pretty sick. You don't expect to see Colin Farrell putting up performances like that. A totally unrecognizable. I hear you, Greg. I hear you. Don't worry. We're coming to that. So it starts off hot. It starts off Act 1. It starts off on Halloween. And this is where you get like the Long Halloween influence. The way everybody had the costumes on, the way he was narrating, that narration is like what would you call that, Mac? Like a 40s, 50s detective film noir that's like a Humphrey Bogart type. Yeah, it's like a Casablanca and the Maltese Falcon. That's like a very Humphrey Bogart thing. Smoking Alien went up. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in your opinion on this, Smoking Alien, because quite frankly, I like you guys' independent films more than this. He was acting interesting, but there wasn't any build up to any action pieces. Totally true. Shout out to Smoking Alien 3. You guys can check out their films. God, we reviewed those. What were those called again, Mac? Those indie Batmans they did?
You talking about
Joker Rising. Joker Rising 1 and Joker Rising 2. We'll link those for you guys too. I mean, Ray May, I'm interested to get your opinion on those Long Halloween animations because it didn't quite transfer over how the graphic novel is.
Man, Joker Staying on topic, guys. Than this
I just said that. That's hilarious. I think Alec is the director. It's hilarious he came through because I was just saying that. So it starts off, right? It's noir. Wackman is narrating. It's good. You get a couple decent fights. The way they establish the universe, the world building, it's all very good. There's certain things that are done well. I like the directing. I like Matt Reeves. It was terrible, right, man? I like Matt Reeves. I like the editing. I like the directing. Stylistically and aesthetically, as we were saying, with the backdrop of Gotham, great film. So we're going to get to the Riddler, Greg. There's a lot of Zodiac influence on the Riddler. Well, I won't say a lot, but there's some Zodiac killer influence on the Riddler. And finally, the last thing I want to say is this Bruce Wayne is supposed to be a depressed, introverted Bruce Wayne, isolated in the Wayne Manor. Matt Reeves took the influence from Kurt Cobain. You know, when Kurt Cobain made it big, he went from being a homeless punk rocker to the richest, most superstar rock star in America, and he had this big mansion and he didn't know how to deal with it. He used to sit in the closet and write songs because that was the smallest room in the house and he was used to being in small rooms. So if you guys know anything about me and the type of things I cover on my channels, I'm a ridiculous Nirvana fanboy. Nirvana is my favorite band. Catwoman was terrible, Greg. She was Wackwoman. Nirvana is my favorite band. So when this trailer drops and you're telling me that we're going to have Kurt Cobain versus the Zodiac Killer, that's my favorite band versus a case that I'm very interested in, as you guys know if you follow my channel. Now, Kurt Cobain versus Zodiac, this should be the best Batman film ever, but it is not. And we are coming to that shortly. So the score is really good. I like the music. I like the sound effects. Matter of fact, if this were to win anything, I would expect this to win sound editing. Yeah, I'm sure you did, right, man? I would expect this to win sound editing because the sound is very good use of sound. Now, you heard Something in the Way by Nirvana on the trailer. They did play Something in the Way 55 times in this movie. They played Something in the Way more times in this movie than Top Gun plays Danger Zone in Top Gun. And that's pretty much where I'm at. So Penguin was cool. Alfred was cool. Gordon was cool. I found Robert Pattinson's Batman flat. I found him average. He was an average stand-in mannequin Batman. He didn't do anything overwhelmingly Batman-ish for me. Maybe he's more tweaked to the Bruce Wayne side than he is the Batman side. I'm going to let Mac jump in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just what I was saying before. Like, yeah. I thought his Bruce Wayne was more flat, but his Batman was a lot better, in my opinion, though. Just because, like, at least he acted out as the way Batman was supposed to act out. Like, very brooding, you know, very interested in trying to solve the case, you know, being on it, you know, the villain and all that. While Bruce Wayne, man, he just sit there like freaking Chris Gaines, you know, in this gothic freaking music and all that, man.
Let me get my eyeshadow on. Where I'm depressed today. I don't want to go outside, Alfred. What should I do?
The dude was like the fake version of the Crow. Like man, I just couldn't
without any martial arts.
With no martial arts.
Not even Bruce Lee. What do you guys want from me? I was in Twilight.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Flying around and shit.
But like I said, I still respect him as an actor. I mean, like, again, I would have liked to seen a little more from him. I think certain things were used as like kind of the way Batman Begins was, and it's like he did a couple cool things in this film, and I was like, I would have liked to seen more of that. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I'm going to drop a spoiler. If you guys don't want to hear what happens in the movie, you can skip ahead or pause this or skip ahead, whatever. That part when he uses the what do you call those things? When he hooks him, I think he was talking to Gordon on the rooftop, and he hooks himself to the building and he sprints. He does that fast sprint straight. It's like a bungee. It's like a bungee, but it's like the I forget the rappel. When he did that like rapid.
To me, I thought it was the grappling hook, and he just repelled himself.
Yeah. But he was like sprinting, like he did it fast, like he ran straight forward. Yeah. And he was like, I gotta go, and he just bounced. And I was like, okay, that was sick. I would have liked to seen him use that a few more times. Like the way that they mixed in his gadgets were pretty sick in this one. I'm not gonna lie, he did have a few sick gadgets. So the way he used that gadget, I was like, okay, fresh, but like I would have liked to seen him use it a little more. And I think that's the type of thing where it was like, hey, look at how sick that gadget was. You're going to be seeing that one all the time in the second one. And I'm like, use it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't save it for the second one. So, yeah, you know, the way it starts off pretty hot. You know, he has the fight with the Joker gang. It's an okay fight. The amount they showed that in the trailer and how they made such a big deal about it. Like, I would have expected a little more from that fight, to be honest. I don't know where you were at on it, Mac, that when he, they were trying to make the Initiate kid beat up the Asian guy or whatever, and then he came out of the shadows.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think that was just a good introduction of his fighting skills, basically.
Yeah, agreed.
How he can handle a group of bad guys around him and all. I mean,
yeah.
In my opinion, I didn't mind that too much. I thought that was just a real good introduction of how Batman would fight crime and all. But
yeah, for sure, like street crime. But at the same time, though, like I felt like they gave away too much of the trailers because they showed that fight in like every trailer. So when I finally got to see it in the movie, I was like, okay, he's gonna really lay it down. You know what I mean? And it was like it was like a PG-13 action fight. It was good, like you said, it showed his skills, but I would have liked him to really give you something you could sink into in the movie. Like, okay, he kicks some ass, and we're gonna see him kick ass through this movie now. But
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Doesn't pan out.
But it's just one of those things where the trailer gives you the action more just to get you immersed into just seeing the movie. Basically.
I hear you.
Every trailer doing that nowadays and all that.
Yeah.
But for Batman, you would figure, okay, I trust it enough. I'll watch it anyway. So, but yeah, giving that fight scene 1,000 times, I think it should have been a sign of, well, we didn't have that many,
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I'm like, bro, you don't show me the whole movie on the freaking trailer. So I like the way it starts. You know what I mean? He gives you his little background of how the operation hasn't been like they basically just set up the bat signal and whatnot. That's basically what he's explaining to you. So I don't really mind seeing him at the beginning of his career, but like I want to see it differently than this, and I don't want to see him. For all you people who went crazy about like showing his detective side and showing the detective skills and what a great detective he was, for one, you should already know that if you're a Batman fanboy like us. For two, did you guys ever see the animated series? Because that's what he did in every single episode. So this shouldn't be new. I know me and Mac, we watched the animated series nonstop. We've seen like every episode, right, Max? So
yeah, I mean, my thing is though, also they could have done more with the detective shit too, like follow infrared footprints, or what I mean,
black light,
stuff like that,
And, I agree.
Oh, the Riddler might have went this way, you know what I mean? Something thinking of something else. They could have done more of that and have more scenes of that instead of just him sobbing over freaking Catwoman. I'm sorry, I cannot stand.
Yeah, we're getting to that. That's like Act 2. So yeah, I agree. Smoking, and shout out to Evan. Appreciate
we will get to that, but in my opinion, I think. That.
Here's another thing. Like, let's talk about that first crime scene. Spoiler alert: if you guys haven't seen it, feel free to skip. When he goes in and the card is left like for him, from the Riddler, obviously, and when the cop stops him, and I gotta say, I do like the way that it's shot with that kind of dark filter, and the guys are just posted up at the front door, and he just like pops out of the darkness. But like the way he just popped up on those cops, it's like if they didn't know who he was, like by the way he was dressed, when those guys just start shooting on him, I mean, you're walking up to a crime scene dressed as a bat, and the cops are like pushing him back, and they're like, Gordon, you're not going to let him in there, are you? This guy's a vigilante. And Gordon's like, no, let him through. I need him. I'm like, don't you think those frontline cops guys would have put up more of a resistance? Like, you're just going to let a random vigilante into a crime scene because your commissioner said you have to. I think that should have been more of like a, like friction. You know what I mean? But
well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they already being the police, they have to know his profile, and one of them is bulletproof armor. You can't really shoot at him, and
which we see many times throughout the film.
And not to mention, like, send them being police, I think they would want to arrest him than just kill him. So
true, but like you just said, how are you going to arrest a dude wearing bulletproof armor? You can't subdue him with guns. So
and pretty much kung fu. So I don't know what you mean. But I think that would have been their first instinct anyway.
For sure. I just thought it was a little weird the way that the dude was pushing him back at 1 second and Gordon just waved him through.
Let him through. I trust him more than any of y'all anyway.
Exactly. So let's get into this. So you do see his detective skills in this one, guys. He's obviously observing the crime scene. It's just I felt like me and you were saying before, Mac, like everything was like a little bit rushed. It's like Gordon points out a detail, And Batman instantly gives him a solution in 1 second. Like, the reason he did that is because of this. And he's like, and then like they look at the riddle and like he comes up with the answer in 1 second. Like, it doesn't show him thinking about it very, very long. Like, he needs to figure it out, like you were saying before.
Like,
so
this dude got like a book of freaking like riddles and jokes that he can figure out. And I recognize that in the passage I read the other day.
Where did Raymay go, dude? Are you telling us that like Alfred has just been teaching him crossword puzzles his whole life and training him on riddles? Because that doesn't seem like a very good use of Batman's time.
I still get it.
Okay, so getting into these, the Riddler influence on the Zodiac. If you guys saw the Matt interviews, I agree, Greg. I agree. Keaton is the GOAT. And I'm sure Mac will have plenty on that. So, the Riddler, Matt Reeves uses the Zodiac killer inspiration for the Riddler. So that's why I gotta say, Gaz kept calling him the Gimp. he's like, I'm watching the part with the Gimp. He's like, I guess that's the Riddler. And I was like, yeah, that's the Riddler. So the Riddler, aka the Gimp, aka the Piddler, aka the Zodiac. He's got the leather face mask, which is supposed to be similar. His costume is supposed to be similar to the black hood that the Zodiac killer wore at Lake Berryessa when he attacked Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard with a large knife. If you guys have seen the movie Zodiac, then you were familiar with that scene. It's directed by Dave Fincher. So when the Riddler does, another thing, I'm going to follow this up shortly after I do this Zodiac breakdown. Who's your favorite character in this movie and why? And what did Gaz think about the lack of fight scenes? We don't really discuss the lack of fight scenes. Who's my favorite character in this movie? I guess Riddler before he took his mask off, or maybe Gordon.
I'm gonna just say Gordon.
Gordon's the only one that was solid.
Gordon's a safe bet right there.
Yeah, Gordon's a safe bet. He didn't switch up on you like Paul Dano's Riddler did.
Exactly. He kept it Gordon, no matter what.
Probably Gordon. What did you think about Gordon, Greg? What's that guy's name, Mac? He's in Westworld.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright is fresh. He's in Westworld. I like a lot of stuff from him. I've seen him in, I think, a couple other movies recently, too. So when Riddler does this... Okay, this is the other thing. I'm just going to do it now. Mac, when this movie was pitched to us, did they not say that it was supposed to take place in the 90s, right? Like it was supposed to be like a 90s backdrop. So can someone explain to me why they were on the internet and using iPhones and on Twitter?
And why the Riddler was a YouTube star?
Yes, exactly. That would have never happened in the 90s. That made the whole time I was figuring it out, I was like, this is the 90s. I was like, dude, Riddler has made like 10 FaceTime calls from an iPhone. Like, yeah, you didn't like him as Gordon.
They could have done like VHS tapes, you know what I mean? The Riddler.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted. On that token, though, I did like, semi-spoiler, the Batcave, the lo-fi Batcave was pretty tight. I did like his Batcave. That technology he was using with the iris recorders, that was pretty fresh. That was probably the best gadget in the movie, to be honest. That was probably that kind of lo-fi technology theme. That was probably one of the best themes of the movie. Did you like Penguin, Greg? Tell me if you liked Penguin. I like Penguin a lot in this movie. So where was I going with that? So I was talking about Zodiac. So Riddler goes viral, as Mac was saying, on the internet, which was not that prevalent in the 90s, so your timeline gets a little askewed. But he says, this is the Riddler speaking. That is supposed to be... And all my Zodiac people on the ZodiacKiller.com forum, I don't know what's up with you guys. I expected you guys to be way more critical of this, because just 3 or 4 Zodiac references was not enough for me. I expected him to be like me and Mac were just saying. I expected him to be a ruthless, cold-blooded, insane murderer. And he did come across that way at first, but he later on unraveled and just became a complete dork. But so when he says, this is the Riddler speaking... that's similar to Zodiac starting the letters he wrote to the press as this is the Zodiac speaking, which, as David Oranchak's video explains, that comes from early Batman comic books when Batman used to say, this is the Batman speaking, this is Batman speaking, this is the Joker speaking, this is the Riddler speaking. That's something Zodiac took from Batman comics that is later used in this movie when Riddler says, this is the Riddler speaking. Then when he signs off, he says, goodbye. Goodbye? It's me, Paul Dano, the Riddler, the Piddler. Goodbye. That goodbye is from when Zodiac called after one of the murders he did. I think it was after the Blue Rock Springs murder of Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau. He called the police dispatcher, who was named Nancy Slover, and he kind of taunted her. Like, she tried to ask him questions. He kind of just ignored her because it was almost like he wrote down what he was saying, like he read off of the script, and he ended the message with goodbye. So that goodbye came from Zodiac. And then, as I said, the ciphers, the He Lies Still, and the ciphers that he wrote for the Batman. Now, I thought that was I want to get your thoughts on Mac, because I know it's like a Zodiac parallel, but I thought that was a theme that was never fully realized. Like, I expected Riddler to be like coding everything he did and sending Batman and the police and all these guys these codes and stuff, because that's what Zodiac did. He wrote a 3-part cipher that was sent to the 3 San Francisco news agencies, and he made them print it all front page. So I was kind of expecting Riddler to do that, because Zodiac did that in real life. Didn't really happen. I mean, I can understand Matt Reeves doesn't want to just copy everything that the Zodiac did, but I think, as you were just saying before, Mac, taking a little bit more Zodiac and using it in the Riddler would have made him a way more menacing character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because basing it off something like, because you didn't, obviously he looked like he didn't want to make it too comic-esque or whatever. You know, you already got the element of Gotham and the characters there and what Batman does and the Riddler and so on, so on, so. But my thing is, they didn't want to make him into like a Jim Carrey cornball. Yeah. And, you know what I mean? Just swing around his freaking cane like, riddle me this, Batman.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I hear Zodiac, I'm thinking, okay, it's not going to be a Jim Carrey cornball. It's going into Zodiac is probably the darkest serial killer in American. He's probably the darkest serial killer in world history, other than Jack the Ripper. You know what I mean? Another unsolved crime in London. So right off the bat, I was like, okay, like what I said before, Kurt Cobain, Zodiac, this could be nuts. This could be nuts, but it just never really happens. And then the other one is when he wrote the card with the owl, my secret friend. That's based on a Halloween card that the Zodiac sent to Paul Avery, the journalist, titled My Secret Pal. And it didn't have an owl on it. It had a skeleton on it with all these other weird symbols that Zodiac supposedly hand drawn, because Zodiac was like able to draw. That's another thing they could have used too. They could have had Riddler doing his own drawings, and like putting ciphers inside of them, because Zodiac was able to draw. That would have been cool. Of course, didn't happen.
There's something that they also did in the animated series, and I know you noticed this also because you've seen every episode, of course. Like, how the Riddler in the cartoon, he would leave like little devices and little like, something that would tell the riddle and all that goes on to the next crime and so on and so.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, they could have added that with the consistency of, like you said, the Zodiac killer and all that, and just make it and merge those ideas together and then make something completely freaking new out of it. And I think that would have totally reinvented his dark character in this one. So it's like,
I agree.
Without that sort of formula, Matt Reeves is a good director. This is what sucks so much.
He's great, and his editing, his score, like, so many things came across amazing, but in a 3-hour movie, it just drifted away from me. I'm throwing up Smoking Aliens comment. Didn't feel the city was on edge from the Riddler since they didn't show many civilians reacting or dealing with it. Like, yeah, that's something Nolan did, I think, a much better job of with Bane and Joker and Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, keeping the makeup on Bruce. I don't know. Are you talking about the eyeshadow? Because that got memed pretty hard, Smoking, and he kind of got lit up for that on Twitter. But yeah, the Joker with the Facebook lives, and I'm not the Joker, the Riddler with the Facebook lives and the freaking Twitter or whatever that was that they were showing. It had like a weird feel for me. Like, I can understand where they were going with it, but let's get into this. Let's get into the scene where what was that guy? The DA is going to be a semi-spoiler, guys. The DA got Riddler put the explosive collar on him, right? Like, I want to talk about this scene because the Gotham police are outside watching it on the bomb squad camera, and Batman just walks in there to like take the card off him that's duct taped to him. And okay, so they're Riddler's it's the FaceTime call. Yeah, he has the iPhone strapped to him, right? So it's the FaceTime call, and Riddler's asking him the riddles, and Batman's telling him, to answer it, and he's like, okay, so let me just get your thoughts on that part back, and then I'm going to come in with what I think at the end of that scene, because it just, you know what part I'm talking about, right?
Like where he came in duct tape and all that with the
when the car, what was that, the train station or whatever, when the car crashed in there, and then the dude was inside it with the collar around his neck, and he had the card and the phone taped to him. And they were like, and the Gotham police was watching Batman. They're like, why the hell is he going in there? He's crazy. He's gonna get right. So Batman is telling him the answers to the riddles. He's like, if you don't answer on his timer, he's gonna kill you. Obviously, we know Riddler he's already killed, I think, 2 or 3 people at this point. So he's capable of doing so. And I pretty much expected that he's gonna kill this guy. This is the part that I didn't get. Guys, you can help me out in the chat if you want to.
Honestly, I was about to say, like, I think that scene right there, I think they made it more Jigsaw-esque. That's why.
Yeah, I agree. And this is the thing. Batman stands right next to him. Okay, it's like once he got the card or the phone or whatever it was he took off him, I think it was the card, he could have backed up a little bit, knowing that guy has an explosive around his neck, and Batman just stood there the whole time having the conversation, like, what are you doing? He's gonna kill you, bro. And then, so obviously you see what happens, and it's like, dude, like, I get that, it's year 2 or whatever for Bruce, fighting vigilante street crime, but anybody with a brain can see if you have an explosive strapped to your head from a guy that's already killed 3 or 4 people, you're probably gonna stand a bit farther back. And also, like you just said, I felt like that scene was too close to when Joker, tied up can't remember her name, Maggie Gyllenhaal and Harvey Dent. Remember when Bale had to choose? Like, I felt like it was almost the exact same scene. I was like what you were saying before with the Nolan influence. It's like, okay, I don't want to see a homage to Nolan's trilogy in every scene. You know what I mean? Just my own personal thoughts. Maybe nobody else thought that, but like I'm like this is overtone and mood wise. I'm like, dude, this is like the same scene. Like, show me something different, in other words.
Yeah. I mean, you could try to go so far with, like, how many Batman movies were out there and what worked and what didn't work, and obviously you could see, like, Matt Reeves, he was trying to, grasp those ideas and see how he could make it his own, but it just didn't, like, cut out too well.
It just came across too similar in certain
not to mention points, like after what happened and all that, it doesn't really make sense how this part of Batman somehow
dude, I'm like, I would expect him to get messed up a lot more, like even if his armor is fire and bulletproof, like I don't know, standing next to explosive, whatever. So okay, we're off that.
Next one.
So halfway through, like we're kind of going to spoiler this, guys. I don't know. You can skip it if you need to and come back after you see the film if you haven't seen it yet. But, dude, once Riddler goes downstairs to the coffee shop and just, like, allows himself to be captured, this is where the movie, storyline-wise, becomes completely unraveled for me because, he obviously gets sent to Arkham, and me and Mac were just talking about the scene before we went live when Batman goes to see him and, like, basically he's like, tells him like, oh, I thought we were on the same side, because Riddler was killing bad guys, spoiler alert, and, corrupt guys, in other words, the corruption. This is supposed to be our celebration. So like Batman is just standing there looking out the window and he watches those explosives go off. And like, it was a little odd to me that like, he didn't try to like call Gordon or the Gotham police. I understand it was too late at that point. But again, I felt like that was way similar to what Joker did in Dark Knight. You know what I mean? With the explosives, you know what I mean?
I think it was way too early for that, man. Honestly. Come on, man. Like okay, so at this point, it's almost like they're telling me we ran out of ideas, so this is what you did.
Yeah. In a 3-hour movie, should we be running out of ideas? Like, bro, shorten it. I honestly think an hour and a half of this movie could be could be just
It could
be chopped. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? And you could have. So, what'd you think about his Batmobile?
Are you talking about the Mad Max Interceptor that he drives?
It was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It for what it looked like as a '90s, Batmobile car and all that, didn't look too bad. I liked it. It had its its gadgets. It had its mobility, kept up with getting them bad guys, man. I mean, I don't know, man. Like at the end of the day, though, like it was generic to me. Like you have to look at it like this, man. When you seen like the Keaton Batmobile and all that, that was something that was like, you would never expect something like that. Obviously the Adam West one was corny as hell, got them little two bubble freaking windshields and all that stuff. Batman and Robin. And then it came to this darker freaking like looking like a damn missile. Freaking Michael Keaton was driving.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Joe Schumacher made the Batmobile into a dildo in the first forever, freaking Batman Forever.
Still wasn't as bad as the bat nipples in Batman and Robin, but
and bat nipples and badasses. I don't know. Look, and but in the Nolan one though, I thought I thought that was the best one because it could turn into the Batjet. It could
that was sick. That was sick. That was sick. Man. But we can't live in the Nolan universe forever as much as
I know.
I'll keep it real. I did like that car chase. I thought it was a really good editing on that car chase. Granted, they basically showed you all of it in the trailer. It was when Batman was chasing Penguin. Again, Penguin is Colin Farrell. Most of you guys probably don't know that because he's not quite as sexy as he looks in the rom-coms that he does. But you know what I mean. He's basically an unrecognizable Colin Farrell, as Greg was just saying. So yeah, honestly, I think another thing is how he kept going back to the ice lounge. It's like, like I felt like it was a little bit like unrealistic how he's going there as his Batman persona, his alter ego. Then he's coming back as Bruce Wayne. Then he's going back as something in between, like Bruce Wayne with a hoodie on that wants to be Batman, but he needs to be undercover, so he can't wear his. I felt like if you were just the same guy going back there, like wouldn't they eventually put it together that you're the vigilante? Like
that, and let's address the elephant in the room. So riddle me this, Mr. Wayne. What is up with Catwoman and all that, man?
Wackwoman was trash in this film.
Look, if they would have just used her as, how they had it in the beginning, like, okay, you work at the Iceberg Lounge, and you can get in there. You can have access in there where I can't have access.
Yep.
And then they work together like that. At the same time, she does a Catwoman, BS and all.
Yeah, on the side. Yeah.
But it's just that I can understand. There was a love thing going on between those two, but I think this came way too early, and I don't know why.
It made it unfocused. It
made it very unfocused.
You just added another unnecessary character. Like, oh man, some of that cringe dialogue in her house. Like, I noticed you have a lot of cats. Like, what, bro? Like, was that Matt Reeves' attempt at comedy? Because it fell flat like crazy. Like, she's a bottom tier Catwoman. I think Michelle Pfeiffer is the best Catwoman, but I mean, Halle Berry was better than this. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
true.
She's a.
And my thing is like, they could have built it up to that to maybe the very end after, he saved the day and all that. But nah, they put it like smack dab in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to care.
That ending scene is just terrible. There's no emotional, like you didn't care about it. Like, first of all, he's already dealing with the trauma of his parents and Alfred. Like that's what I was going on about before when he thought that, Riddler was sending what to the Wayne Manor, so he tried to call Alfred on his bat phone in the Batmobile. I'm like, he didn't have that same energy when he heard Riddler was blowing up those vans around town. He didn't call anyone. He's like, I guess Gordon will see that anyway. You know what I mean? It's just like it wasn't consistent for me. You know what I mean? Like I got to see him have the same reaction and everything. She was
Yeah.
she was a below average Catwoman for me.
And you got to look at it. Oh, and another fact, you got to look at it like this too. Second year in fighting crime, already you're falling in love. Wouldn't that influence you in some sort of way of your, crime fighting also?
You're
Because
falling in love with a criminal.
now you're
It's
falling in love with
not like she's freaking Wonder Woman or something. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
you know, this is my thing about Catwoman when she starts giving him that SJW cringy rant about white privilege and it's like you know what it is, Batman. It's all those rich white guys. Like, hey, what do you mean? I am one of those rich white guys. Like, didn't it occur to him that comment applied to him directly? Got him, plot hole. But you know what I mean. It's like, don't insert that new wave, social justice warrior dialogue. We don't care about that. Can we just watch a comic book movie without getting corny racial identity politics involved in the film? How about that?
For the ones that watch this movie, they like looking at Zoe Kravitz. Obviously she's eye candy.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, man, like how they played her off and all this, man.
One more quick thing. I felt like she was playing that up big time because she went and made this comment to the media that she was told that she was too urban looking to play Catwoman in the Dark Knight trilogy or Dark Knight Rises or whatever. And then everybody on social media was going, yeah, Zoe, stick up for it. And then later on she goes, oh, actually, I didn't get the audition. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Don't just make that comment. Just you know what I mean? Let the movie be on its own. Don't talk about why you weren't in Dark Knight Rises. My guess is Nolan didn't pick you because you're not good enough at acting. Not that I think Anne Hathaway's good at acting, but you didn't fit. Sorry. And this performance did not blow me away by any means. Like Alfred was way better than you. Gordon was way better than you. All these other side characters. I mean, I don't want to hate on Paul Dano's Riddler performance too much because he definitely did his Zodiac research. I just think that it wasn't able to come together. He should have been able to use more and put it together in a different way. And I feel like this is what happens. When your whole first two acts of a movie are based on pretty much what Smoking Alien was saying, that the Riddler being this serial killer terrorist terrorizing the city of Gotham, and then he basically retires himself halfway through the film and allows himself to be captured. There's no antagonist in the film now. You know what I mean? There's no point. Everything that Batman was just doing for the first two acts, solving all the crimes and trying to put it together and who is this guy and catch him and blah, 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 blah. Now there's absolutely no point for the hero in this movie. Like, Commissioner Gordon can save the city now. You know what I mean? Like
that's when the Riddler clones come in.
Yeah. So I don't want to spoiler that too much, but again, that concept of Riddler's online social media fan base that Mac was referring to earlier. Here's the deal with that. Is that not the exact same concept as the Joker gang that he beat up in the first scene? You know what I mean? Or the Joker gang that's in Batman Beyond? Like, I feel like it's too close.
Another idea they want to take.
Come on, man. Do something different. Do something different. Don't just rehash the same. Okay, but it's not a Joker gang. Now it's a Riddler gang. Whoa! Damn, that's so creative and crazy. Like, come on, man. There's 90 other Batman villains that they never use.
With riddles just as worse as the original ones.
For reals. I don't know if Raymay is still with us, but that is the one thing about the Long Halloween animation that I would give them is there's like 4 or 5 Batman villains in that. There's the that little that Mad Hatter guy, Solomon Grundy. Obviously the Holiday Killer, blah blah blah. But there's all right. What's that other guy? Hush. Who's that dude that is like is that Hush, the bald dude that's in Arkham, and they have him in that what dude I'm talking about. He's in the Long Halloween. I think it's Hush, or I forget it. If anybody can help me out, hit me in the chat. But I think that's one of the influences for the Batman film as well. So he's the one in the Long Halloween that tells them that it's a holiday killer. You know what I mean? Like he's killing on holidays. Blah blah blah. I remember Batman goes and meets with him. So that character, like he should have showed up in this. And don't get me started on that cameo at the end. Mac, I sent you guys that deleted scene. I'm going to save a special roast for him at the end because that was terrible, totally unnecessary, bad writing. So pretty much the film starts unraveling itself, guys, and I feel like the whole, I don't know. Let's highlight John Turturro, Falcone. Dope. John Turturro's fresh. I like the Falcone depiction as well.
Carmine Falcone looked good in this one. So.
That was cool.
I thought he looked a little better than Eric Roberts.
Yeah, I agree. I like Turturro. Turturro's fresh. He's in a lot of good movies. So definitely Falcone. But again, like this is a movie where all the best actors are these side characters with not much screen time. I mean, I guess Penguin gets some pretty good screen time. But again, he just kind of drifted off. You know what I mean? It's like they built him up. Like, okay, he's like an underboss or whatever. He's probably, he's out for a power grab. You think he might take over the family or whatever. But then he kind of peters out too. You know what I mean? And so it's like every character that gets built up in these first two acts are just like, by the time that, and that's when this third act completely fizzled out for me was the, as Mac referred to it, the daylight scene in the stadium. I guess it was some sort of stadium of the flood. I'm like, there was some interesting, filming and some I'd say maybe special effects and, things of that nature. But overall, story-wise, like I'm watching this big battle scene, this climactic battle scene, and I'm just bored. I mean, I don't care what happens at this point. I don't care what happens.
Because you're not seeing Batman fighting the villains that you want to see him fight now.
I agree.
Now it's just Batman fighting any willy-nilly dude.
Just street clowns. And honestly, a bunch of internet dorks with rifles should be no problem for Batman. He was just fighting street gangs. He should fly through these guys like nothing. So I mean, we didn't talk about the ice lounge fight. Let me get your opinion on when he fought his way into the ice lounge. Because
rewind.
What did you think?
That one I didn't mind just because
it was a decent fight.
I thought it was a decent fight. It showed what the Batman armor was capable of.
Durability.
Yeah, not to mention it did give a good scene with between him and the Penguin also. So
yeah, which I thought was the best part of that scene.
Yeah, exactly. So and I think they should have built more off that too, man.
I agree. He beat up some goons. Yeah.
Real,
he beat up some goons. He did get shot like 500 times. I'm not sure how I feel about those fight scenes being shot in the dark, because every time a movie does that, all you can see is the muzzle flash of the rifles, and you can see the bullets bouncing off of him, but you can't. He grabs the rifle and just like melees some guys. So, it was an interesting fight, but I don't know. Like it.
And I wanted to forgive it just because, okay, it's a second-year crime fighting. He ain't gonna really like sneak in there and take him out one by one. No, he's gonna.
Oh yeah, no, hell yeah. Beat him down. I like that. I like that element, of course. Yeah. I mean, but again, let me just reference. Remember when he fought his way into that club in what was that, Dark Knight? Pretty similar scene, would you say?
I think it's somewhat similar.
You know what I mean? So once again, we have this thing that Mac was saying where it's like, dude, are you going to show us any new fight or any new scene that we haven't seen before? That's all I was thinking. I was like, okay, it's a decent fight, but I've just had images of Dark Knight flashing in my mind while I was watching that scene. So,
and it was so funny. I try to tune out all that, the previous Batman movies.
Yeah, I do too. But it's like you said, it just comes back to you anyway. You know what I mean? Like
when you see the scenes, it's like reminding you, like, oh, come on.
Because it's a club, it's a nightclub, blah blah blah, with the corny freaking dance music in the background. So, I think I'd say probably the most original scene in this, I would say, was the car chase. You know what I mean? As far as like originally shot.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
That was probably, in my opinion, which is pretty dope. I mean, although. The way he jumped the truck when Penguin, Penguin, they were driving against the traffic or whatever, and then he was able to the ramp was able to release, and I was like, okay, I get he's Batman, but was that a little bit lucky the way he was able to line up that ramp and launch it over a freaking 18?
You know, they had to make it look cool somehow.
I was like, it was a little Fast and Furious for me. I was like, okay, it looked great. It looked great, but you know, in the plan of the realism, what about when he busted out the squirrel suit and he jumped off the building with a squirrel suit, and then he basically used the little freaking balloon anchors, and he bounced off the train, and he got roughed up there. What'd you think about that one?
I didn't mind it. I thought it was something different.
It was pretty cool. I like the way they depicted the flight.
Yeah, like, flying. It really did, like, because obviously, you know, he can't really fly, but you know, right. If he had to, like, but it shows also, you know, he'll come with these like gadgets and new devices and such, you know. It explores the inventory of what Batman can use at his disposal in order to, you know.
And I would have liked to have seen, you know, I get, you know, this is the one where they're going to develop the detective side, and they're going to show him walking around these crime scenes for 20 minutes with Gordon explaining it. One last one I want to get to before we go to the ending, and that is when they bring... This scene is kind of awesome in a way, although I don't know how intentional it was when they bring Batman to the station for interrogation, and he's talking to Gordon inside the interrogation room, and they come up with the plan to get him out of there. What'd you think about that one?
Nah. I say I wish it would. I think it'd be one of the most entertaining parts of the movie, at least.
I agree.
The interaction between those two, man.
That was awesome. Their interaction was one of the best parts of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I do like that plan they came up with to get Batman out of there. And then when he's like running away, you know what I mean? He's just running through the police station trying to get to the roof or whatever, like 100 cops chasing him. It's just such a funny image of like the police chasing Batman through the police station, shooting at him and shit, and how he escaped was sick. Oh, I think that might have been the squirrel suit at the end that he flew off with. I don't remember. Yeah, that was tight, right? So that build-up was tight. I mean, Gordon is freaking epic in this movie. Dude is awesome.
I thought it was.
So yeah, like we said, like Alfred, I think this was a really cool depiction of Alfred as well. And again, it was like the best thing about this movie. I felt were the side characters. So the ending is just what up, Space Mutant? It's my dude. Check out his channel. He makes some awesome animation. We're just about to wrap up here at the end of Act 3, Space Mutant. I don't know if you caught the Batman yet. So
yeah, let's get to the daylight part.
Yeah, that's what we're at. Like so the water freaking comes pouring in. Oh, the one I want to get your thoughts on this, Mac. What did you think of him taking out the magnetic Batman logo for the blade that he kept using?
I mean, I thought that was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was like, I think he could have done more with it again, but the times he used it were pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Nah, for sure. Because like I said, they don't show too much like of him using the original like Batman devices like the Batarang and such. You know?
Yeah, that was kind of like, it seemed like a homage to that. It was like a big version or something. Okay, Space Mutant on that point, I'm putting you up here. So, all right. I love the scene where Batman is in the flood and the blue and the red light cinematography. So here's the daylight scene. Yeah, we're talking about that ending here. So here's the thing. The red and blue, or what'd you call it? The blue and red cinematography. Okay. Cinematography. Epic. The cinematography of that scene is amazing. The way that it's shot, beautiful. However, the pacing and what is happening in that scene is so slow and boring after 3 hours. I thought I was going to fall asleep in the theater. The car chase in the hard rain was epic. We just covered that earlier. Yeah, that was tight. But it's just, yeah, the siren lights, I get you. The siren lights were cool. But again, dude, it was just such a long scene, bro. It was such a long scene, Space Mutant. Like, it just, I was losing interest. I was losing interest by that point. Now, the way Reeves shows it, what he shows you on screen is amazing. It looks amazing, but there's something off in the pacing and how Batman is just going around. He's trying to save these people. Like, dude, that could have been a 15-minute scene, dude. It didn't need to be 45. You know what I mean? Like, it just dragged on too long.
And it could have been used a little earlier too, in my opinion, when Riddler wasn't in Arkham and all that. So, because it could that was actually a pretty cool scene to use right in between that, just to keep the pacing in the movie consistent.
For real. See, dude, Matt Reeves, you need to hire Mac the Riddler over here to be your script editor and slim things down for you, bro. Because we'll wrap it up, guys. If anybody has any other connections on, the Zodiac, any other comments on the Zodiac connection to Riddler or anything else on the movie, you guys can drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
So once again, they wrap up the end. This is where I got really mad. Right when they're concluding the daylight scene, the daylight with Sylvester Stallone is what we keep referencing, guys. A movie where people get stuck in a tunnel, and Mac is 100%.
We're gonna get all the girls to war.
It's only my second year fighting crime, but I think I'm trying to do pretty good. Sylvester Stallone as the Batman, guys. So
that's a new one right there. Hollywood, look up for that one.
He didn't step away from the role, to my knowledge, Space Mutant. I believe that Matt Reeves is writing a sequel. I believe they have big plans for a Matt Reeves universe. So I think Pattinson, aka Robert Wackinson, in this film is staying on with the role. So I don't know. I'd like to see him do better, because I'm not a Wackinson hater. As I said, Rover, epic. Tenet, pretty good. He showed us he can act in Tenet. So I would have liked him to use more of that sophisticated Tenet performance instead of just like playing a younger Bruce Wayne, which is younger than he himself is. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense as an actor.
Like, I want to be by myself, Alfred.
I don't want to talk about it. Leave me alone. Put my Nirvana vinyl on and get out of my office, Alfred.
I played 30 times.
Just put something in the way on repeat. I've got crimes to solve in here, and leave the newspaper with the crossword puzzles. Thanks, Alfred. So he goes back into the narration, the Humphrey Bogart noir style detective narration, and starts rapping. I'd say I'm making a difference, but I'm not even sure if I'm making a difference anymore. I don't even know. Matt Reeves, cue something in the way again, please. So. Thank you, man. Hey, if they want to tap me to play an old ass out of shape Bruce Wayne, dude, my schedule's always open. So he comes back in, and Mac, that's something I would have liked more of, like the way he narrated the intro and the outro. I think Reeves should have doubled down on that film noir detective style narration and had him narrate more scenes throughout the movie to keep that theme going. Then you would have got a real noir film. Then it would have felt like a detective noir. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
If you ask me, I think that's what a Batman film, a new Batman film, something like that is what's needed. Something
and that's what this was supposed to be. He told us it was going to be a 90s film noir, Kurt Cobain versus Zodiac. That's Mac would be the Riddler maybe, or Mac would be Riddles was like a Spanish guy in Joker Rising, right, Mac? Or who would be your favorite villain to play, Mac?
My favorite villain to play?
Yeah, Batman villain.
I'll go with Killer Croc.
Yeah, dude, I like Croc, but you'd have to hit the gym, brother. Batista would be a sick Bane. They should have someone bigger play Bane, although I do like Tom Hardy. Bane was by far the best part of Dark Knight Rises, you know what I mean? Because that petered out too. Didn't have the problems this film had, though. So that's where I'm at, guys. It just became completely convoluted. It was way too long. Let's talk about the last couple things. That freaking ending where him and Wackwoman and Wackman why don't we go on one last motorcycle ride together, baby? And they fly through the cemetery, and then they split up. This is a spoiler. I don't give a crap anymore, guys. I'm doing it. They split up. I didn't see Spider-Man, Greg. I'm sorry. They split up, and he looks at her through his rear view mirror of his bike. What's going to happen to his love interest next time? Oh, man, what a cliffhanger. I'm on the edge of my seat here, Matt. Can we bring you in and get your reaction?
God.
Terrible ending. Terrible. And I got one more. I got one more, too.
So bad.
Terrible. Cut that last 20 minutes off. Sucked. Mac, you could be the Mac Hatter.
Yeah, I'll be Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter is actually pretty crazy.
The Mad Hatter.
Victor Freeze.
Please allow me to break the ice. My name is Ross Wayne. It's me and Arnold.
Oh yeah, just to answer Greg's question, the Spider-Man. I actually did see that.
What'd you think?
I'm gonna be real with you. The multiverse Spider-Man concept was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
they actually brought back Tobey Maguire and the other dude that played.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like obviously, like I'm not a big Spider-Man fanboy or whatever, but seeing all that actually was kind of refreshing, just because they had the right dialogue, they said the right lines, all
something
that.
different, like you said,
something different,
seeing a multiverse thing over and over again.
And let's be real, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel characters, so
allow me to break the ice
actually made it better. So yeah, man.
Loaded 12 fits the chilling sound of doom. So Mac, there's that corny scene where they ride away on their motorcycles. It's the most cringy ending. Cringy was this a rom-com? Matt Reeves, was this a rom-com or was it an action movie? You have 2 fights in your film, bruh. You have 3 fights in your film. He fights a gang of internet dorks at the end. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that Doc Strange trailer looks decent. Go ahead, Mac. I've been ranting and raving to you and Gaz about this for months, bro. Don't even get me started, Mac. Chemicals in the water making the friggin' go ahead.
Frogs. Anyway, I don't want to get attacked by SAWs and all, but
no, I don't either.
Honestly, it was cliche, bro. The ending was way too cliche for me, man.
Yeah, it was corny, dog.
As that, okay, we're done with your 3-hour torture. Now let's just end it like this. And then, my thing is, if they ever make a sequel of this, I'd be freaking scared to watch it, because
they're going to. Did you see how much money this movie made? Kids are going around saying it was the best movie ever made.
Oh my god! They don't know.
Have you guys seen Zodiac?
About. Okay.
Yeah, Seven and Zodiac are both way better than this. Sorry, guys. Along with every other movie that influenced this. You were saying, Mac?
Oh, I didn't even know they were making a Doctor Strange sequel. You're telling me.
Oh, you got to see that trailer, bro. That's totally the what's it called? Multiverse? Something. It's about the multiverse.
Oh yeah, man. Doctor Strange is freaking crazy, bro.
Yeah, I like him too. Cumberbatch. He's dope. So we were gonna end it on that cringy, douchebaggy rom-com scene, guys, but then Matt Reeves treated us to the most cringy garbage ending that I've ever seen in my life. Does anybody want to talk about when the Riddler, aka the Piddler, he was the Riddler with a mask on, he takes it off, he becomes the Piddler. The Piddler goes to Arkham, and there's a crazy secret villain in the cell next to him, and he tells a joke and he laughs at it. Oh my god, Mac, what's gonna happen in part 2? Yay! Garbage. That ending was trash. I'm sorry, Matt Reeves. You're a good director.
Alone.
Who was the secret character? There was a secret villain. Was it the Joker? Garbage. That was garbage.
No, look. The last good Joker I've seen was by Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
The character study was actually a pretty good joke. Yes.
How many Jokers is going to be? Too many, bro.
He's a popular villain, yes, but damn.
He's freaking popular as hell now. It's the Joker multiverse. Every time you turn a Batman movie on, there's 50 new Jokers. Like, come on, man.
Ooh.
Dope. I'll check that out, man. I like Judd Nelson. I haven't heard of that space before.
Let's be real, because this is my problem with them making too many Jokers.
Yo, you got to see Joker, Greg. It's fire, bro. It's real dark and slow.
And this is my issue right here. Obviously, Dark Knight. Heath Ledger had one of the R.I.P. He had one of the best, chaotic Jokers ever. He was like a chaotic terrorist.
Yeah, he was like a
Joaquin Phoenix had a good origin story of the Joker and how he
breakdown.
Became, this lunatic.
Yep.
And my thing is, I think those Jokers you cannot top, because there were 2 different Jokers there. It was the beginning, and it's the result of all of that. And what's his face that played and it's not like the comic book freaking Joker, like Adam West show, or
Yeah,
you know,
Caesar Romero,
where he's like so overly goofy and laughing all the time.
The tie-in with Zodiac is there's an old Batman comics. I think it's the Detective Comics, where the Batman was solving something called the Zodiac crimes. This is directly from Batman now. I'm not talking about Zodiac. Some people think that those Batman comics referring to the Zodiac crimes could be where the Zodiac killer got his name from, or one of the influences. And then later on in the Adam West show, they do some episodes about the Zodiac crimes. So it all, like, you remember how I was telling you the back and forth earlier, it ties in. What was my man saying? When you were talking about crazy looking nailed the laugh, though, which laugh were you talking about? Were you talking about Joaquin Space Mutant, or were you talking about Barry Keogh in the Batman? Because I don't know that. I don't know how's that. What's that guy's name? Barry Keogh. It's terrible.
Keogh, I don't know what that was.
It's good to have a friend. It was a hilarious joke. Not funny enough to end the movie on, though. The joke in that movie was Matt Reeves wrote an unnecessary Joker cameo into a movie that had nothing. Jack Nicholson was the standard, Greg. I
mean, Caesar Romero's laugh in the Adam.
Caesar's my dude, but he wouldn't shave the mustache. You know what I mean? So he doesn't get a top spot.
But obviously, Heath Ledger and freaking Joaquin Phoenix probably did probably the best laughs. But the thing is, like, yeah, that guy and freaking Jared Leto and all those mofos that want to be the freaking Joker, man.
Yeah, I know.
It just didn't fit.
We don't need to. I don't know who needs to hear this. We don't need to see Joker in every Batman movie, guys. We don't. We don't even need to see Joker in every Joker movie. I like Hamill a lot, guys. Comic book Space Mutant. We do have the Dark Rift Volume 2 coming out. Check out the Dark Rift Volume 1, Escape from Earth, now on Amazon and Comixology. That is Mac and myself's first comic book written by me. More on that later. The trailer is dropping, I think, probably tomorrow. So, cringy Joker cameo. I don't even know. You guys can tell me in the chat. I don't know the answer to this next question. Was there an end credit scene? Because I walked out when the credits rolled. So
of course there was an end credit scene, but I think everyone else walked out right after.
What was it? Did you leave too, or did you see it?
I mean, I saw, once the credits popped, bro, I'm gonna be real. Once the first credit popped, boom, boom, directed by so and so, I was like, man, I'm out.
Okay, well, look, before we go, let's just talk about that deleted scene of. You did watch the deleted scene I sent you, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did. Thank you.
What was the point of that? People were going, dude, bruh, that was so sick. They should have kept that in the movie. No, it's a deleted scene for a reason. That was terrible. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there's no reason why Batman ever needs to go to Arkham Asylum to ask Joker any questions about how to solve a crime. It basically would never happen ever. So he's Batman for a reason. So it was garbage. Yeah, I hear you, Space Mutant. We'll get at you. I didn't mind Leto, guys. I'm a bit of a Leto fanboy. I do want to check out Morbius. Did you guys see Morbius, and was it trash? Oh, Riddler talking to Joker was the end credit scene. That was before the credits, though. I saw that part. God, I hated that deleted scene with a passion, guys. It was trash. So the Wackman 2022, they call it an action crime drama. It's more of a crime drama rom-com, if you ask me. Way too long. I think there's a good movie in there somewhere. Good luck finding it. Yeah. And we're gonna come to our ratings because I think you guys are gonna be surprised about this. It was just way too long, guys. That's my thing. They should have chopped it way down. So it has an 8.3 on IMDb. I don't know how. I don't know how it has an 8.3 on IMDb. That's a little crazy to me. I gave it a pity 6 out of 10. I'm somewhere between a 5.5 out of 10, guys. This is an average Batman movie. It's too long. It's too long. You know what I mean? It's an average Batman movie. I could maybe go up to a 5.5. There's some good things about it. The score, the music, the editing, the directing, all very good. There's some good performances in it. Colin Farrell, Penguin, Jeffrey Wright, Gordon, Commissioner. Alfred is pretty cool. But overall, Pattinson is just an average Batman. Maybe he's a slightly better Bruce. Wackwoman was terrible. There's a lot of things about this that make the film the Wackman. So, Mac, what'd you think?
Well, pretty much the same, like from 5.5 to 6. I mean, I'll give it, like you said, a pity 6, just based off the fact that, like you said, right then and there, how it was filmed, the acting was good. I honestly, I thought he was a better Batman than he was a Bruce Wayne, but it is what it is. I think there was some scenes that could have been done better, some ideas that could have been used, utilized a lot better also, and kept it straight to the Batman concept.
Greg gave it a 3.
Hey man, you're more honest than me, bro, I guess. But for real though, but for real though, in the end of the day, like, I looked through this whole film, and like you said, 3 hours. If it was shortened a bit, the score probably would have went a lot higher. Just because,
same.
There was some scenes that could have been left out. You're talking about that Joker scene should have been deleted. I think a lot of scenes should have been deleted.
Terrible. Yeah, the whole ending should. Right when he saved the people and he did that monologue, they should have just cut it right there. I don't need to see any more. This film is already too long.
That would have been it. And my thing is, you would have kept it condensed to a certain time with all those characters in there, with all their scenes in there, and the story being one consistent timeline. Not to mention the Riddler, not going to Arkham until maybe the very end instead of just in the middle, and God blah the whole story after that. My thing is like, there was a way of doing this, and I think Matt Reeves, he had the ideas. He was trying to utilize them, but it just didn't come together.
Not fully realized. Like, he took the influence from the right places, like Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and the Zodiac. He drew from the right places, but it didn't develop and fully realize correctly. So we're trying to wrap up, guys, but we'll bang out a couple of your questions. Thoughts on the guys on the Flash movie starring 89 Batman? Well, I'm a Michael Keaton fanboy, so you can pretty much get me involved in anything with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And as Greg said, I'm mostly looking forward to Michael Keaton. I do like the character of the Flash. I feel like some of the actors who play him are kind of corny. So that is basically we have on the Wackman. Is it on the Batman 2022? Is it AKA the Wackman? I don't know. I don't really care to see more of this universe if he's going to make 3-hour movies that don't have any villains in them. So that's where I'm at on this. But that's where it's at, guys. I'm gonna when we edit this, I'm gonna put up the Dave Aranchak things about the Riddler influence to Batman, and then which way am I pointing here? That way. The Riddler influence to Batman, and then I'll put up his other one with Zodiac's influence on film and film's influence on Zodiac. So go check out Zodiac Files Episode 3, Sherry Joe Base Mystery. I don't know if you had a chance to see the new Zodiac Files, Greg, but let me know what you think when you get around to it. I think we're probably going to do Morbius next. We have a couple other things that we want to appreciate you, Space Mutant. Go check out our comic book as well. The Dark Rift Volume 1. It's the official Guerrilla Alliance PXR comic book, Escape from Earth. Check that out. We're figuring out the digital. And if you have any recommendations or stuff you want us to cover, put it in the comments below. Paradigm Review Show, the Batman, aka the Wackman. Zodiac Files Episode 4 coming soon, the Gavita Beach Murders. So check that out. Mac, you have anything else?
Yeah. I think I'm going to take a break from Batman for a while, you guys.
I don't blame you.
No, but I did hear Greg said that Michael Keaton's going to be in the Batgirl series. And he is going to be coming back as Batman.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I know he's going to be in Flash, but I'm not sure if I'm good with that.
Because there was an announcement Michael Keaton's supposed to come back as Batman, but they didn't really announce what show.
In the Flash. In the Flash, you got to go watch the Flash trailer. They pull out the Batmobile and then they kind of pan the camera to him, but they don't show his face.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, he's in the Flash. They're talking about it in the comments.
I mean, but if he's going to be in the Batgirl
Greg.
series too, he might be the same guy too, so who knows?
Oh, he's probably going to be everywhere. Like, wait, We could get Michael Keaton.
I'll show you Robert Pattinson how it's done.
Batman's not a British guy. He's an American. Get it together, brother. All right. The Batgirl series. I hear you, Greg. I hear you. I think I'm going to skip that one. All right, guys. I don't know if I'm going to do Spider-Man, dude. We review old films. We review old films. Newton, if you think of anything, just drop in the comments, bro.
I'll give you this. No Way Home. I'll give it a 7. Way over freaking the Batman. So.
There you have it. I'm gonna let Mac take that one. All right, guys. Went a little bit longer than we were aiming to. Again, there's some cool stuff out there. The Zodiac reference. Check out the Zodiac Files episode 3. It's on the channel. Like, sub, share. Paradigm Review Show. We're out. Any recommendations? Leave them below. Thanks for coming through. Shout out Greg, Space Mutant, Ray May, everybody who held us down. We are out. Thanks for coming through, guys.